This happened in Canada, in the Coast Mountains. I had a free day and decided to do a solo hike. Pack, water, snacks, in and out. It's one of those trails that's busy near the start. Then you get a little deeper, and it can go dead quiet. I wasn't worried about it. I'd done stuff like that plenty of times. I was a couple miles into this hike when I started hearing someone behind me. At first, I didn't care. It's a trail. People pass you. So when I hit a wider spot, I stepped to the side like normal and pretended to adjust my pack strap, just letting them go by. But they didn't go by. Two guys came up and stopped with me. Packs on. Little radios clipped on their shoulder straps. One of them had an easy smile. The other one didn't really smile at all. Just looked me over and then looked past me up the trail. They asked if I was solo. I said yeah. Then they told me they were out helping with a missing hiker search. Volunteers. Had I seen anyone? I told them no. It had been quiet all morning. I asked who they were looking for. They gave me a name. Sarah. I asked where she started and where the command post was set up. Their answers were all over the place. Down there, main trailhead, somewhere near the ridge. Stuff that sounded like an answer without actually being one. And while we're talking, the quiet guy drifts a step, so I'd have to squeeze around him to keep going. The smiling guy stays in front of me. Then the questions shift off the missing hiker and onto me. Did anyone know I was out here? Was someone expecting me back? Did I have a satellite device? Was there service up higher? Was I sharing location? I lied. Told them my friend knew my loop and he was meeting me later. The quiet guy nodded like he was logging it. Then they suggested I walk with them, just to the junction. That's when I got that spike of, okay, why are you pushing that? I tried to end it like normal, said good luck, and stepped like I was going to keep hiking uphill. The quiet guy moved with me, like he was blocking without making it a block. Then they said I could keep walking, just with them. So I nodded like, sure. Anything to keep it calm. And instead of going uphill, I turned and walked downhill toward the junction because I figured a trail split might mean people. I kept my pace normal, didn't look back, didn't run yet, but they followed right with me. One behind me, one off my shoulder, close enough that if I stopped, they'd stop. We rounded the bend and the junction sign came into view, and there was a third guy standing there. Not hiking through, not sitting down, just posted up by the sign with a pack on. And when he saw us, he looked right at me first, not the other two, me. Now I'm standing at this sign with three guys and trails splitting. And the way they spread out is what hit me. The third guy drifts toward the left trail. The two I'd been talking to sit on the other directions, including the uphill behind me. Nobody grabs me. Nobody says, don't leave. It just feels like they're keeping the space small. They keep it casual, but they're not really talking about the missing hiker anymore. They're talking around me. One of them points at my phone pocket on my shoulder strap and asks what my battery's at. Battery, not service. Then the quiet guy asks again if anyone's expecting me back and if my friend has my location. I repeat the lie and try to sound annoyed like he's being paranoid. Then I tried to leave. I say I forgot my water filter up trail, and I'm gonna jog back and grab it. I turn to go uphill, and the quiet guy snaps. No. Just no. The smiling guy immediately tries to soften it. Stay here. We'll go with you. We'll help you look. And the third guy says, don't make it weird. That line flipped the switch, because I wasn't making it weird. They were. I take a small step back without thinking, and the quiet guy matches it instantly, like he's watching my feet. And I realize, if I stay at this post, I'm not leaving on my terms. So I ran. I turned and took off uphill as hard as I could. Behind me, I heard shouting, and then boots hit the trail. More than one set. I had trekking poles, and they were suddenly just in the way, so I carried them for a few seconds until one snagged and ripped out of my hand. I didn't go back for it. The trail was steep and loose, and I almost ate it on the first switchback, but I caught myself and kept going. I pulled my phone out while I was running and tried calling for help. Nothing. No service. Not even a failed call. I looked back one time and saw two of them behind me. The third guy wasn't there, and that made it worse because it meant they'd already split up. I kept running. Up ahead, I saw one of those side paths cutting off to the right. Not marked, just worn dirt like people take it to a lookout. I knew it could dead end. I didn't care, because if I stayed on the main trail, I was predictable. So I took it. The path narrowed down fast and the brush got thicker. I heard the footsteps on the main trail blast past the turn, then stop. Then I heard someone call out, loud enough for me to hear, that I went right. A second later, I heard someone crashing through brush after me. The side path opened onto a rocky overlook. Dead end. I spun around and I could hear them getting close. So I looked for anything that went down. Off to the left, there was a loose drainage. Pine needles, rocks, scrub. Steep and nasty, but it went down. So I dropped into it. I slid more than I climbed. I grabbed at bushes and roots and scraped my hands up on rock. I banged my knee hard enough that it hurt to put weight on it, but I kept moving. Somebody yelled, "I see her!" And it wasn't from behind me. It was from above, like one of them was already up higher looking down into the drainage. That meant they were getting around me. I hit the bottom and pushed into brush and stayed low. Then I heard a radio crackle close by, close enough that I could hear the static. And I heard, "Cut her off!" That made my stomach drop, because you don't say that if everyone's behind me. So I flattened behind a fallen log. I could see legs moving through gaps in the brush. Slow steps, like they were taking their time. They stopped near me, like they were listening. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just stayed flat. Finally, the steps moved on. I waited until I couldn't hear them anymore, then crawled out and started moving again, still staying low, trying to angle downhill toward where the main trail should be. I pushed through a thinner spot in the brush and back onto the trail. By a stroke of luck, a park ranger was nearby. Uniform, badge, radio, all of it. I grabbed his sleeve and just dumped it out fast. 3 guys, said they were volunteers, said there was a missing hiker, tried to keep me at the junction, followed me off trail, radios. The ranger's face changed immediately. He goes, "What missing hiker?" I told him the name they used. He shakes his head and keys his radio right away, asking dispatch to confirm. Then he steps in front of me and tells me to stay behind him. Dispatch comes back quick. There's no active missing person in that trail system. Nothing open in that area. And hearing that out loud, right after what just happened, made my stomach drop all over again. Because it meant the entire story they used to approach me was made up. The ranger asks which direction they went. I point up slope. He calls for another unit to head toward the junction, and then he walks me down trail fast, keeping me behind him the whole time. A couple minutes later, we start passing normal hikers. Couples, families, people taking photos. It feels unreal how normal it looks. At the trailhead, there was another ranger and a sheriff's truck by the time we got down. They sat me down and took my statement. Where it started, what they looked like, radios, the junction, the drainage. They asked if any of them touched me. I said no. They sent someone back up toward the junction. They didn't find 3 guys with radios. They didn't find anyone matching what I described. They gave me a case number and told me to call if I remembered anything else. One of the rangers told me, really plain, that if someone on a trail starts asking about your battery, your service, and who's expecting you, don't keep talking. Just leave. I got in my car and drove out with my windows up and the doors locked, just trying to get back to a busy area. I ended up stopping at this little place to grab food because I felt shaky and I just wanted to be around people for a minute. I sat down, tried to act normal, and when the server came over, that's when I realized I didn't have my wallet in my pocket. I always toss it in the same zipper pocket on my backpack. So I pull my bag onto the bench next to me and unzip that pocket. My wallet's there, and shoved right up against it is this small, white, round thing. At first I thought it was like a contact case or one of those earbud things. Then I realized what it was. An air tag. I just stared at it for a second, like my brain didn't want to accept it, because that meant at some point, at the trailhead, on the trail, or at that junction, someone got close enough to my bag to drop it in. I didn't even think. I grabbed it and walked straight out to the parking lot and threw it as far as I could into the trees behind the building. Then I got in my car, locked the doors, and left. I checked my mirrors the whole way home. Nobody followed.